Hi everyone, welcome back to I Create For You. Today I decided to get out this book that I got at a yard sale, and it's called Haunted Pets. Since we're doing ghost stories and everything, before I can get to the second part of our 5 locks video, I thought I would try to do this one on my own without my husband. He's not going to read this one, I'll read it. And these are supposed to be true ghost stories. Okay, I'm going to do this one. It's called Rescue from the Beyond. Hamlet, a gentle giant of a Great Dane, loved his mistress Megan O'Connor so much that nothing could keep him from protecting her, not even death. The huge Great Dane stood tall and proud, measuring 30 inches from the ground to his shoulders and weighing 120 pounds, a full 40 pounds more than his 13-year-old mistress. His shiny, short-haired coat matched the tan color of a fawn's hide and featured streaks of dark brown from his spine to his belly. Setting him apart from the other Great Danes, he sported a dark brown ear and a light tan one. Despite his size, Hamlet put most people at ease because his large brown eyes twinkled with the friendliness of a puppy. Hamlet had been Megan's faithful companion ever since he was a pup, and she was 3 years old. Her parents bought the dog for protection because they didn't live in the best of neighborhoods. It didn't take long before Hamlet towered over the little girl. But even as he outgrew her, he remained as gentle and lovable as a lamb. During her preschool years, Megan could do most anything to him, playfully yank on his tail, squeeze him around the neck, and Hamlet would take it all in stride, never growling or snapping at her. The freckle-faced, red-haired wisp of a girl loved to hop on his back, hold on to his neck, and ride him around the backyard like a pony. Hamlet enjoyed the attention and would trot proudly. Other times, with a rope tied to his collar, he would pull her while she sat in her little red wagon. But despite her pleas for him to go faster, Hamlet knew better. He would never do anything to hurt her. Despite his sweet disposition, Hamlet was fiercely loyal. Hamlet would sit in front of her and whine, as though he were trying to block away the angry words from reaching Megan. He wouldn't dare growl at her parents, whom he loved as well, but he wouldn't let them know that he was upset. Outside, if Megan started playfully wrestling with one of the neighborhood kids, Hamlet would scamper around them and bark. If he didn't hear her say, "It's okay, Hamlet," he would gingerly grab her opponent by the shirt or pants with his teeth and drag the kid away from Megan. Hamlet acted as Megan's canine guardian angel and instinctively sensed danger. One time when Megan was 8, she was taking him for a walk when a stranger drove up and asked for directions. Hamlet barked and snarled at the man, and Megan had a difficult time holding on to the dog's leash. "Hamlet, stop it," she ordered. "I'm sorry, mister. He usually isn't like this." She gave the man directions, and he drove off. A few days later, Megan saw the man's face on the news. He had been arrested for the attempted kidnapping of a 6-year-old girl only a few blocks away, on the same day Megan had encountered him. Hamlet saved her again during a visit to her grandparents' farm when she was 10. Megan had wandered over to a fenced-off area to check on 2 newborn calves. Wanting to get a better look, she climbed over the fence and began petting them. Megan didn't realize that her innocent actions were viewed by the mother cow as threatening to the newborns. With Megan not paying any attention to the cow behind her, the animal lowered its head, charged, and rammed into her. Megan went sprawling face first into the muck. The angry cow then used its nose to roll Megan over and was getting ready to step on her. Seeing his mistress attacked, Hamlet sprang into action. He leaped over the fence and bit into the cow's jaw and held on until Megan could crawl away. Once the dog knew that Megan was safe, he let go of the cow and continued to bark at it. Then he jumped over the fence and ran to Megan, who was bruised and dirty but otherwise unhurt. Those weren't the only times Hamlet acted as a hero. Twice, when Megan and her parents had gone out for the evening, burglars had attempted to break into their house by busting a window and climbing inside, and twice they fled when Hamlet confronted them. But more than a protector, Hamlet was Megan's loyal companion. The dog would sit on his hind legs and look at Megan in the eye to sense her mood. If she felt sad, Hamlet would bury his head under her arm or lick her hand. If she felt upbeat, he would bring her a ball in the hopes of playing with her outside. Sometimes he tried to get her to dance by resting his big paws on her shoulders and slurping her face, but when he did, he always managed to keep most of his weight on his hind legs so that he wouldn't accidentally push her down. During the day when Megan was at school, Hamlet spent most of his time outside in the fenced-in backyard. He liked to play with one of her old teddy bears, tossing and shaking it. The O'Connors figured he liked the teddy bear because it carried Megan's scent, but he played so rough that he had already chewed up 3 of the bears and was on his 4th by the time Megan turned 12. He never played with the teddy bear when Megan was home because he'd rather be with her. Often, when she watched television, Megan would lie on the floor Megan would lie on the floor with Hamlet and use his back as a pillow. Whenever she talked on the phone, which was a lot, Hamlet would spread out on the floor by her side. She would stroke his ears until he felt so relaxed that he would fall asleep. At night, just before Megan hopped into bed, the two carried out a ritual. Hamlet would lie on his back and Megan would rub his tummy. Then she'd give him a big kiss. "Hamlet, you're my best friend," Megan would tell him. "I can't imagine living without you. Promise you'll never leave me." He'd nudge her hand and bark as if he were giving her his word. But then the unthinkable happened. Megan was stroking his tummy one day when she noticed a lump on his right side below his rib cage. The lump grew larger and he began losing his appetite and energy. Alarmed, the O'Connors took him to the veterinarian, who performed several tests on the dog. The diagnosis sent Megan into a tailspin of grief. "I'll give it to you straight," the vet told Megan and her parents. "Hamlet is suffering from a deadly form of cancer, and it has spread throughout his body. There is no hope of recovery." "Please, doctor, there must be something you can do," Megan pleaded with trembling lips. "Megan, the only humane thing is to put him to sleep soon so he doesn't have to suffer. He's in pain." Megan was devastated, walking around in a daze, not wanting to believe that she would soon have to tell her best friend goodbye forever. The night before the dreaded moment, Megan scratched Hamlet's tummy for the last time, unable to look at the large, deadly lump that was responsible for her terrible sadness. "Hamlet, I'll miss you so much, so very much. Promise you'll come back from dog heaven and see me, okay?" Hamlet, wincing in pain, gave a soft bark. The next morning, Megan led Hamlet into the kitchen. "I'm going to the vet's with you, Dad," she said. "I should be with Hamlet. I want the last thing he feels to be my arms holding him. I don't want him to die with strangers." "Megan, are you sure you want to put yourself through all this?" he asked. "I'm sure. Hamlet has always been there for me. He's protected me. He's been by my side when I needed someone to talk to. He's kept me warm, and he's given me so much love. I've got to be there for him." At the vet's, Megan and her father took Hamlet into the examining room. The dog lay down on the floor and put his head in Megan's lap. Megan stroked his ears, and through her tear-filled eyes she whispered, "I don't want you to go, but I know it's for the best. You'll always be a part of me, Hamlet. You'll always be there in my heart. I love you." He looked up at her with those big brown eyes as though he understood he was about to die. Megan leaned down and kissed him. She cradled his head in her arms as the doctor injected her beloved dog with a solution designed to kill painlessly and instantly. Hamlet then closed his eyes for the last time, and Megan cried. Megan and her father wrapped Hamlet in a sheet, put him in the back of their van, and drove home in near silence. They went out to the backyard and dug his grave, making sure it was neat and with smooth lines. Mr. O'Connor then laid Hamlet down in the hole. For a dog that was so large in life, so big-hearted, he seemed so small to Megan. She placed his stuffed teddy bear next to his body and covered him over with dirt. After filling the grave, Megan kneeled down and said, "At least you'll always be near me, Hamlet." For weeks, Megan's heart ached. She missed her dog so much. "I'll wake up in the morning and think he's at the foot of my bed, like he always was, but he's not there," she told her mother. "When I talk on the phone, I automatically try to pet him, but he's not there. I miss rubbing his tummy at night." "I know how difficult it is to lose Hamlet," said her mother, "but time has a way of healing your sorrow." "It's strange, Mom, but there are times when I almost can feel him next to me, like when I'm reading in bed. I'll think he's resting near my feet, keeping them warm." "When you feel up to it," said her mother, "let's get another dog, a puppy that you can raise and train and—" "Get another dog?" gasped Megan, shocked by the suggestion. "I couldn't. I just couldn't. No dog could ever replace Hamlet. He's still my dog. Even if he's not here physically anymore, he's here in my heart. Another dog? No way." One night, about 3 months after Hamlet's death, Megan was home alone watching television. Shortly after midnight, her parents called, telling Megan they were having such a good time at their high school reunion that they would be home very late. They reminded her again to make sure the doors and windows were locked and to leave the outdoor lights on. Megan wasn't afraid to be alone, but she didn't feel quite the confidence she used to have when Hamlet was alive. With her Great Dane by her side, she felt perfectly safe, knowing that he would protect her. She felt much more vulnerable now, but not scared. About 1 a.m., she turned off the TV, checked all the doors and windows, and went to bed. The moment her head hit the pillow, she began dreaming about Hamlet. He was romping around in the backyard, happily tossing and shaking his teddy bear. But suddenly he stopped playing. He stood still with his ears and tail perked up. Then he growled and bared his teeth before pacing back and forth, frantically barking louder and louder. He barked so loudly in her dream that Megan woke up. For one fleeting moment, she expected to find Hamlet at the foot of her bed, but when she became clear-headed enough to realize it was all a dream. Suddenly, she heard a thump coming from the family room and the sound of the sliding glass door opening. "Mom! Dad!" she called out. "Is that you?" The sleepy-eyed girl walked out into the hallway, wondering why her parents hadn't used the side door that led to the attached garage. "Is someone there?" She flicked on the family room light and froze in terror. There, not more than 10 feet away from Megan, stood a burly man in a black t-shirt, black pants, and a black baseball cap pulled down to his eyebrows. "Don't move," he ordered, whipping out from his waist a snub-nosed revolver. "Oh, please don't shoot me," Megan stammered. "Then do as I tell you," he snapped. "Are you alone?" Megan nodded. "I need money and jewelry," he said. "Show me where those things are and you won't get hurt." Fear left Megan's mouth bone dry and her legs feeling like jelly as she marched down the hallway to her parents' bedroom. "Oh, Hamlet, I wish you were here," she thought. "You'd protect me. You'd save me." She opened up a drawer and pointed to the jewelry box inside. The intruder rummaged around and pulled out a couple of gold necklaces and rings. "That's all? Where's the rest?" "There isn't any more. We're not richer." "You're lying." His eyes erupted in a blaze of fury, and he lunged for Megan. She screamed with fright and bolted into the family room, where he grabbed her from behind and threw her hard to the floor. He stood over her for what seemed like an eternity, but was only a matter of seconds. "Is he going to hurt me?" she wondered. "Is he going to kill me? Oh, how I wish Hamlet was still alive." Suddenly, the intruder lurched backward as though some invisible force had shoved him. "Hey, "What's going on?" he shouted. He was pushed back again, this time against a chair, where he lost his balance and flipped over on his back. The fall knocked the gun out of his hand. Megan leaped to her feet and couldn't believe her eyes. The intruder was rolling around on the floor, his hands wildly trying to fend off an unseen force. "Leave me alone," he cried out. "Get off of me." "Ah!" At first, Megan thought he was suffering from a seizure or hallucination from drugs, but then, to her astonishment, she saw the skin on both of his cheeks split open and blood trickle down his face. Bloody scratches crisscrossed his hands as he desperately fought the invisible force. Megan didn't know what was happening to him, and she wasn't about to stay around a moment longer to find out. She grabbed the gun and fled the house. She raced over to the next-door neighbors and pounded on their door. "There's a burglar in my house," she yelled. "Call 911. The police responded within minutes and surrounded her home. Then they carefully made their way inside and found the intruder bleeding and dazed as he staggered to his feet. "I give up," he said. "Just keep that big dog away from me." The police threw handcuffs on the burglar and hustled him out the front door while Megan stayed next door with the neighbors. "I don't understand," he muttered to the cops. "The dog was invisible when he attacked me, and then all of a sudden, while he's mauling me, I could see him. Am I nuts?" "The only thing you are in is deep trouble," an officer shoving him to the patrol, said an officer shoving him into the patrol car. Megan, still shuddering from her ordeal, eventually walked back into her house where investigators were examining the crime scene. "Are you all right?" the detective asked the detective in charge. Megan nodded. "I'm okay, but I just can't stop shaking. How did he get in?" The intruder had a tool that pried the sliding glass door off its track. Then he opened it and slipped inside. "Thank goodness your dog came to the rescue." Megan felt stunned. "Dog? What dog?" she asked. "The one that attacked the burglar. The one that bit him and clawed him. I think he said it was a Great Dane." "You do have one, don't you?" "I had one, but—" She never finished her sentence. Out of the corner of her eyes, she spotted something through the sliding glass door that caused her heart to skip a beat. Under the outdoor lights, a Great Dane romped in the backyard, tan with stripes on his side and one ear darker than the other. "Hamlet!" Megan shrieked in joy. "Oh, Hamlet, you've come back!" She dashed out into the yard, aching to throw her arms around him, but before she could reach him, the dog vanished into the darkness by his grave, where the beams of light fell short. Desperately, she searched the yard, but could find no trace of Hamlet. Emotionally crushed, Megan sprawled over Hamlet's grave and cried until she could cry no more. But then, as she tried to catch her breath, she sensed a familiar presence by her side, and for a precious lingering moment, she felt reunited with Hamlet. "You're here with me, aren't you?" she murmured. "You'll always be here with me, in spirit." That was an interesting story. Man, that's just weird, the way he came back and actually was able to physically help her by mauling that intruder. I didn't know ghosts could actually do that, but it must be true. I'm going to try to illustrate this the best that I can. So, we have Hamlet, the Great Dane hero. I don't know how good I'm going to be doing at drawing a Great Dane, but I will try. And I'm going to try to draw him and Megan side by side, because he helped her, and they're the main characters in this story, so that is what I'll do.